Elvis Presley was sitting alone at Graceland that night. It was past midnight, and normally he wouldn't answer the phone. But something, a feeling, forced him to reach for it. "Mr. Presley," the woman said, her voice trembling and hopeless, "my daughter is dying. Please, I'm not asking you to just sing to her over the phone." What Elvis did that night pushed him to make the most dangerous decision of his career. And it changed a 19-year-old girl's life in a medically impossible way. October 23rd, 1973, Memphis, Tennessee. In the main hall of the Graceland mansion, Elvis Presley sat at the piano, repeating an unfinished melody. The house was silent. Normally, there would be 15, 20 people around him, crew members, friends, visitors. But that night, Elvis wanted to get away from everyone. In recent months, there had been a growing emptiness inside him. Concerts, studio recordings, movies. Everything had become a routine. And Elvis felt he was losing himself in that routine. The clock showed 12:47 a.m. The phone rang. Elvis initially thought about not answering. People who called at midnight usually didn't bring good news, but the phone kept ringing. 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, as if the caller knew Elvis was there, as if they needed to make him listen. Elvis got up and walked to the phone. When he picked up the receiver, the voice from the other end froze him. "Mr. Presley," the woman said. Her voice was broken, tired, and desperate. "I know I'm calling at midnight. I know you'll ask how I found this number. But please listen to me. My daughter is dying." Elvis's heart raced. He'd received calls like this before. Sick fans, families, desperate people. But there was something different about this voice's tone. This was the voice of a real mother. "Ma'am," Elvis said, his voice soft. "What's your name?" "Sarah Collins," the woman said. "And my daughter is Emma. She's 19 years old. She's at Memphis General Hospital. Doctors gave her 48 hours, maybe less." Elvis closed his eyes. 19 years old. Too young to die. "What happened to her?" Elvis asked. Sarah's voice trembled. "Leukemia. She's been fighting for 2 years. Chemotherapy, radiation therapy, bone marrow transplant. We've tried everything. But her body can't take it anymore. The doctors told us yesterday. There's nothing they can do." Elvis waited silently on the phone. He'd learned not to rush in these kinds of conversations. When people reached out to him, they weren't just asking for help. They needed to be heard. "Emma is your biggest fan," Sarah continued. "When she was 5 years old, she heard your first record. Since that day, she listens to your music every day. Her room is full of your posters. Even when her illness was at its worst, your songs calm her. Especially one song, Can't Help Falling in Love. When she hears it, she smiles. She forgets the pain." Elvis swallowed. Can't Help Falling in Love. That was one of his favorite songs too. Because every time he sang that song, he thought of his mother, Gladys Presley. The person Elvis loved most while she was alive, and the first person he lost. "Mr. Presley," Sarah said, her voice now close to crying. "Emma's last wish is to see you, just once. She wants you to sing to her. I know this is impossible. I know I'm asking too much. But this is motherhood. You try the impossible for your child." Hundreds of thoughts ran through Elvis's mind. Security concerns, media, hospital policies. But then another thought came to his mind. It was his mother's voice. "Elvis, you came to this world for a reason, to make people happy. Never forget that." "Which hospital did you say?" Elvis asked. Sarah was surprised. "Memphis General. "But Mr. Presley, I wasn't asking you to just sing over the phone." "I know," Elvis said. "I won't sing over the phone. I'm coming there." Silence came from the other end. Then Sarah's disbelieving voice. "What did you say?" "I'm coming to Memphis General," Elvis said. "I'll sing to Emma. But we have to do this right. Nobody should know. If the media finds out, everything will be ruined. This should be only for Emma. Do you understand?" Sarah was crying. "Yes. Yes, I understand. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you." Elvis hung up the phone and stood there for a while. What had he just done? Sneaking into a hospital at midnight? This was crazy. But it was also the right thing to do. The feeling inside him said so. Elvis moved quickly. He called only 2 people from his crew. The first was Security Chief Charlie Morrison. Charlie had been working with Elvis for 10 years and trusted him blindly. The second was Elvis's personal doctor, Dr. Nathan Pierce. If they were going to enter a hospital, they needed a doctor with them. An hour later, at 2 a.m., 3 men left Graceland in a black Lincoln Continental. Elvis sat in the back seat, wearing a hat and sunglasses. Nobody should recognize him. Memphis General Hospital was an old building in the city center, a 7-story concrete building. During the night shift, the hospital was quiet and gloomy. Charlie got out of the car and checked the back entrance. They had spoken with Sarah Collins on the phone. Sarah had gotten help from an old friend who worked in hospital security. That night, the cameras at the back entrance would be down for maintenance. Elvis, Charlie, and Dr. Pierce quietly entered the building. Sarah Collins was waiting for them. She was a woman in her 40s with a tired face. Her eyes were red from constant crying. As soon as she saw Elvis, she burst into tears. "You came," Sarah said, her voice a whisper. "You really came." Elvis touched her, held her arm. "I promised you, Mrs. Collins." "Where is Emma?" "4th floor," Sarah said. "But first you need to know something. Emma, she's very weak. She hasn't eaten for 2 days. She has trouble speaking. You might be shocked when you see her." Elvis nodded. "I understand. Take me to her." The 4 people quietly got into the elevator. The elevator slowly rose to the 4th floor. When the doors opened, Elvis walked through the dim light of the hospital corridor. His footsteps echoed. With each step, the tension inside him increased. What would he say to Emma? What could he say to a young girl who was dying? Sarah stopped in front of a room at the end of the corridor. Room 412. Before opening the door, she looked at Elvis. "Are you ready?" Elvis took a deep breath. "I'm ready." The door opened. The room was small and sterile. Various medical devices were next to the bed. Monitors, IV stands, oxygen tubes. And in the middle of the bed, a tiny body was lying. Emma Collins. When Elvis saw her, his breath caught. Emma was even worse than Sarah had said. Her skin was white, almost transparent. Her hair had fallen out. There was a thin cover on her head. Her eyes were closed, and her breathing was very slow. But there was a peaceful expression on her face, as if she wasn't in pain, as if she was just sleeping. Elvis slowly approached the bed. Sarah whispered in her daughter's ear, "Emma, sweetheart, someone came to see you." Emma's eyelids opened slightly. Her eyes were blurry, but she was trying to look. When her eyes focused on Elvis, nothing happened for a moment. Then, slowly, something changed. Emma's eyes widened. Her lips parted slightly, and she whispered a word. "Elvis?" Elvis smiled. "Yes, Emma, it's me. I came to see you." Tears poured from Emma's eyes, but these weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of happiness. She tried to raise her hand, but didn't have the strength. Elvis held her hand. Emma's hand was ice cold, and very thin, as if it would break if he touched it. "Are you real?" Emma whispered. "Am I dreaming?" "I'm real," Elvis said, "and I came to sing you a song. But first I want to talk to you. Your mother loves you very much, and you're very brave. You've been fighting for 2 years. That's incredible strength." Emma nodded slightly. "I'm tired," she said. "So tired." Elvis swallowed. What could he say to this? How could he comfort someone waiting for death? "I know," Elvis said. "Sometimes life is very hard. Sometimes fighting is very exhausting. But I want you to know something. You're not alone. Your mother is with you. I'm with you now, and I'm proud of you." Emma smiled. It was a very small smile, but it was real. "Will you sing to me?" she asked. "Can't help falling in love." Elvis nodded. "Of course. But first I need to tell you something. This song is very special to me, because when I sing it, I think of my mother. She was a strong woman like you, and I know that if she were here now, she would be proud of you." Elvis sat on the edge of the bed. He held Emma's hand, and he started singing. "Wise men say, only fools rush in." Elvis's voice filled the room, powerful but soft. Every word, every note, was like a hug. Sarah stood in the corner crying. Even Dr. Pierce was wiping his eyes. Charlie was waiting at the door, but even he felt the specialness of this moment. "But I can't help falling in love with you." Emma was watching Elvis. Her eyes were open and shining. For the first time in weeks, maybe months, she felt alive. The pain was still there. The fatigue was still there. But this moment was real, and it was beautiful. When Elvis finished the song, Emma whispered, "Will you sing it again?" Elvis smiled. "As many times as you want." And that night, Elvis Presley sang "Can't Help Falling in Love" to Emma Collins 5 times in that small room on the 4th floor of Memphis General Hospital. When the 5th time ended, Emma was asleep, but there was a smile on her face. Elvis slowly stood up. He turned to Sarah. "Tell her I won't forget her, and tell her to be brave, whatever happens." Sarah nodded, unable to speak. Elvis looked at Emma one last time. Then he quietly left the room. The 3 men left the hospital. Nobody saw them. Nobody knew. This night had never happened. But Elvis knew. And that was enough. The next morning, when Sarah Collins entered her daughter's room, she was shocked. Emma was awake, and she was smiling. "Mom," Emma said, "Elvis was here last night, wasn't he? I wasn't dreaming, was I?" Sarah nodded, tears in her eyes. "No, sweetheart, you weren't dreaming. He really came." Emma took a deep breath. "Then everything's okay. I'm not scared anymore." But then something happened. Something doctors couldn't explain. Emma ate that day. Very little, but she ate. And the next day, a little more. And the day after that, a little more. The doctors couldn't understand. Medically, Emma Collins' recovery was impossible. The leukemia was too advanced. Her body wasn't responding to treatment. But suddenly something had changed, as if Emma's body had decided to fight again. 2 weeks later, Emma was still alive. A month later, she was discharged from the hospital. 6 months later, her cancer went into remission. And 5 years later, Emma Collins was completely healed. Doctors called it spontaneous remission, a medically unexplainable recovery. But Sarah Collins knew something else, and Emma knew it too. Something had happened that night. Elvis's voice, Elvis's touch, Elvis's love, somehow had given Emma the strength to live. Emma Collins didn't tell this story to anyone for years. That was Elvis's wish. This moment should stay between them. But in 1977, when Elvis died, Emma couldn't stay silent anymore. She went to Elvis's funeral. Outside Graceland, there were thousands of people. Everyone was crying. Everyone was experiencing their loss. But Emma went to the casket and left a letter. The letter said, "Dear Elvis, that night you didn't just sing to me. You gave me a reason to live. You showed me the power of love, compassion, and humanity. Nobody knows what you did that night, but I know, and I will never forget you. You weren't just a singer. You were an angel. Rest in peace. With love, Emma." This story remained secret for 40 years, until Emma Collins gave an interview in 2013. She was 59 years old then, healthy, and had 2 children. She told the journalist everything: how that night went, what Elvis said, how she felt. "People ask me," Emma said, "did Elvis's song really heal you? It's medically impossible, they say. But I tell them this: sometimes medicine can't explain everything. Sometimes the human spirit, human love, human compassion, these create miracles. Elvis didn't just sing me a song that night. He gave me a reason to live. And that's the greatest miracle for me." Thousands of stories have been told about Elvis Presley's life. His successes, his songs, his movies, his scandals. But perhaps the most important stories are the ones nobody knows. The man who went to a hospital at midnight. The man who sang to a dying young girl. Without media, without cameras, without applause. Just as one human being showing compassion to another human being. A miracle happened at Memphis General Hospital that night. And that miracle's name was Elvis Presley. If this incredible story of compassion and humanity moved you, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Share this video with someone who believes in the power of love and compassion. Have you ever experienced a moment that changed someone's life? Share it with us in the comments. And don't forget to turn on notifications, because more amazing true stories are coming.